All right, let's dive into something that's been making some serious waves in the Cardano ecosystem. It's a new tool called the Surge protocol. We're going to break down what it is, how it works, and why it's already having such a massive impact. I mean, just think about that for a second. What if that whole complex world of automated algorithmic trading was suddenly open to, well, pretty much anyone, even if you have zero programming skills? That's the big question Surge is trying to answer. So, to really get why Surge is such a big deal, you first have to understand the hurdles, the barriers that have kept most of us on the sidelines when it comes to automated trading. You know, for the longest time, if you wanted to run a trading bot, you had two options. Either you had to be a pretty skilled developer who could code it all yourself, or you had to trust some third-party service with your crypto and your strategy. And that mix of technical skill and just plain old risk, it was a huge wall that kept the average person out.
And that wall is exactly what the Surge protocol was designed to tear down. It offers a totally new way to approach automated trading.
So what is it really? Simply put, Surge is an app that runs right in your browser. It lets you build and launch your own trading bots on Cardano's decentralized exchanges just by using simple instructions. The key takeaway? No coding. None. It all boils down to four key ideas. First, no code required, which makes it super user-friendly. It's algorithmic, which just means it follows the rules you set for it. And maybe most importantly, it's sovereign. And that word sovereign leads us to one of its absolute best features. Okay, this next part, this is maybe the most important thing to understand about the whole protocol. We got to talk about security and control, and how Surge makes sure that you, and only you, are always in the driver's seat. See, unlike a lot of web platforms that run on some company's central server, Surge runs locally, right in your own browser, on your own machine. What that means is the entire operation, your instructions, your connection to the blockchain, it's all happening right there on your personal device. And this highlights a huge difference. With custodial services, you're literally handing your assets over to someone else. You're trusting them. But Surge is non-custodial. Your funds never leave your personal Cardano wallet, ever. You have full control, full sovereignty over your assets the entire time. That's an absolute game changer for security and, just peace of mind. Okay, so the technology sounds really cool, right? But what happens when the rubber meets the road? Let's take a look at the protocol's real-world performance literally right after it launched on Mainnet. So the Mainnet went live on January 19th, and the impact wasn't a slow burn. It was immediate. The very next day, the Cardano network really started to feel its presence. I mean, the numbers that started popping up in the first 24 to 48 hours were just undeniable. It was crystal clear that Surge was filling a massive need in the ecosystem. Let's start with a big one, trading volume. In a single 24-hour period, bots running on Surge generated over 500,000 ADA in volume. That's huge. And look, this wasn't just one or two big whales making a splash. That volume came from over 700 separate transactions. That tells you people were actually using it all across the board, right out of the gate. And to really put that into perspective, basically overnight, Surge became the second largest decentralized exchange by trading volume on the entire Cardano network. It didn't just show up to the party, it instantly became a major player. So you can see, this is way bigger than just a neat new trading tool. This kind of activity creates ripple effects, and it turns out the team behind Surge has a much bigger vision for Cardano as a whole. And this quote from the Surge team, well, it really says it all. Their goal isn't just to give people a tool, it's to actively boost Cardano's key performance indicators. We're talking transaction volume, liquidity, and do it as efficiently as possible. They see Surge as a way to make the entire network stronger. Now get this. This is the really wild part. All that incredible launch volume we just talked about, it was backed by Surge's own internal strategy fund, which was running at only about 10% of its total capacity. So they achieved all of that while keeping 90% of their powder dry. And that just leaves us with this one massive question, right? If Surge was able to become the number 2 DEX on Cardano using just a tiny fraction of its resources, what does its future really look like? It kind of feels like the Surge we've seen so far, well, it might just be the beginning.